Okay. Hi, good afternoon. As promised, the Guyanese Critic with Daybreak News. I am at the Ministry of Education and I have here with me the Honorable Minister of Education, Priya Manickchand. And in light of transparency and moving forward, I'm here to ask the Minister questions that will make us aware of what they're doing, when they're doing it, and how does it affect Guyanese. Thank you for having me, Minister Manickchand.
Thank you for coming.
In coming up, I realized you had a meeting, and I had a short interview with the president for the Guyana Teachers Union.
You brackled them?
Yes, you could say I brackled them. From his point of view, it's been fruitful, and he sees the Teachers Union and the Ministry of Education moving forward on some things. Can you give me your take on that meeting and why you even called it in the first place?
Why did I call the union? The union, the Guyana Teachers Union, is a very important stakeholder in the Ministry of Education and in the delivery of education. They look after the interests of teachers across the country. As you know, teachers are the backbone of our system. So we can't and we will not be doing anything without collaborating with to collaborate with us. I believe unions are good things. Unions do what I did in my life outside of politics, which is represent people who can't represent themselves. And so they do a noble job. I don't think a union ministry relationship needs to be combative. I think it needs to be a relationship that where both sides enjoy healthy respect for the other, and that you work together to make sure out of our teachers and that we make them into the best they can be. So that's kind of the relationship. We generally will consult and we commit to that. All major decisions will be consulted on, and we're facing a big one now, which is how do we deal with delivering academic material, learning, teaching to students in the COVID-19 pandemic. And I don't see how you could move forward in a decision like that without engaging the union. So the invitation was specific to engage and consult and hear the union's views on school reopening and the consequences and what they know from the ground from their teachers. Sometimes we hear things in the ministry from our offices that are not necessarily what's happening on the ground. It's always good to get another view. But it's important, not only good to get another view, it's important to hear from the Guyana Teachers Union on their perspective on what our plans might be, or what our possibilities and what our proposals might be, as well as to share with them what we plan to do, so that they could share that with their teachers too and their members.
Okay, so it was a discussion of sharing viewpoints and enabling moving forward.
Specific to moving forward to the Christmas term, yes.
What is your position on the reopening of schools?
Well, my position is informed, or has to be informed by the Ministry of Health's knowledge, both their medical knowledge, their statistical knowledge, their experience in the various regions, because sometimes you don't hear the full story, as well as what has happened across the world with schools and how they've opened and how they've managed, and matching that to our realities in Guyana. So for example, a country like Denmark opened very successfully using something called the bubble method. You have 12 children alone in a classroom, they're appropriately distanced, they're masked up, their temperature is tested, they have hand washing facilities, and they opened very well, and they opened successfully, and they were able to stay open. In Guyana, do we have number of teachers to have only 12 children in a classroom? If we do we have adequate hand washing toilet facilities? If we do we have adequate numbers of masks? If we do, is there community spread that we need to shut down so nobody moves? It's several different things and layers that we have to look at. We have not made a decision as yet. That's the purpose for consulting. Our decision is going to be based purely on science and statistics and the biology and the trajectory of the disease in Guyana and what we have learned around the world when people are reopening.
I think that has been very edifying for the viewers and Guyanese in general. Question, Minister, when is everybody getting their first 10,000 voucher?
That is a commitment we made as a political party on the campaign trail. As you know, the PPPC has always honored its commitments. It's one we intend to honor. You also know, though, that we're in a very tight spot economically. Now, let me be very careful before the Guyanese Critic runs out with a headline that Manickchand says they can't afford it. There's several things regarding the voucher. That's we're talking at the cabinet level about submissions for the budget, but the $10,000 requires a distribution to people that sometimes could require a gathering or several gatherings, and that is something we're trying to shut down right now. So again, that is not going to be a decision. Prior to now, the Ministry of Education alone made decisions in that regard, because we could have arranged where we met parents, how we delivered. That cannot be a decision we make by ourselves. We would have to consult with health, unless we have means of getting the cash grant to parents without them in any way gathering. And how do we protect our offices and so on. So some of those are the issues we have to examine.
Okay, so you are sticking to your commitment.
Yes.
And it's just as how it roll out right now.
The commitment was to assist parents with a cash grant, and that commitment will be honored. How we do that is
okay, was the thing. A lot of people have been asking me, one of the questions and directly related to that one, and I was trying to figure it out. This cash grant is only given to kids who go to the government schools. And people are asking why everybody does not get it. And I used to say first, but man, these people are rich, they got money, so what they need is extra money. Well, me rich, and Paul goes to the business school, my son.
right.
I could do with the $10,000. And I'm asking, is there any possibility in the future, or do you see that on the horizon, that every child,
Right.
since one of your mottos is no child left behind, and that was
not my motto. That was Minister Bash's.
oh, Mr. Bash created that. Okay,
And
well,
that
the
was
Minister of
not his
Education.
That was not his motto either. I think that was it was a misnomer. It was copied from a U.S. policy, and I think that's how it came about. But we tried to change it. In fact, our policy, if you go back to Google articles, you'll see we actually changed it. But to today's date, we're still implementing that program.
Okay. So is it any possibility in the horizon that every child?
So every child, our view is that every child, including children in the private schools, belong to us. They are Guyanese children. They choose to be educated privately, not necessarily because their parents are wealthy, but because their parents believe that might be a better route for them. Guyanese children, the private schools have helped our public system tremendously with space, so they've taken off a lot of kids who, if they come back into the public school, might end up with overcrowding and so on. I see every student, whether private or public, as a student that we have to have as our paramount concern their interest. And so it is not off the cards. It is something that was raised even the last time. Like I said, we're very new. I don't think we're a week old as yet. So some of these things are still being ironed out.
Okay, beautiful.
For these things are always budgetary considerations. You know, we've come into a really heavily taxed, and by that I mean broke, country, and so you'll have to reprioritize some things that we thought we could, do right.
Since you brought it up, what is the state of affairs with the ministry?
In what regard?
There have been a lot of audits going on at other ministries and finding numerous irregularities. Has this ministry been running at its most efficient? Staffing, are they performing up to date? Is there anything that I would like to call thievery been happening here, or you've discovered so far?
Well, it's the same stuff I would be relying on to deliver my programs. I think there's been a bit of sloth that and perhaps, and I'm getting the impression that that may have come about because of lack of direction. But we're dealing with professionals, and we expect from the ministry's working staff their very best, because they're not going to be lacking any direction from in terms of policy. So I am disappointed about a couple of things. Like, we should have a learning channel that we could revert to immediately, and have programs up and running that our children can be engaged academically right now as they are home. We don't have that. We have a learning channel, but its content is not attractive, not even to me. And it certainly is not structured in a way that could engage our children if they're to stay home. Now, when Bart Jagdeo, who was president at the time, launched the learning channel, the whole idea was so that we could learn differently, so that we could deliver education more effectively in places that can't get traditional means and so on. And that vision wasn't realized, but we're here to realize it now. So the learning channel really is going to be
one of the things
our main. We would like to deliver the fancy Zoom classes and Google classes that some of the private schools are using. Connectivity is an issue, so we're not going to stop, or we're not going to stop trying. But the main focus will be to deliver education through packages that students can use with instruction on the learning channel, and various courses and so on. Not courses, lessons happening on the learning channel in a very structured way. So that's what we're working on now.
So you have not found anything so far that, because I know there are different projects in the ministry and so on, there's nothing to suggest not everything is to your likeness as to how it's being delivered, but there's nothing in this ministry so far, the Ministry of Education, that would suggest any wrongdoing is being done here.
I haven't looked for wrongdoing.
Okay. Well, let me give you some more time.
We're really focused on trying to. I mean, it sounds like an easy task, but we have 187,000 children about there, and 10,000 teachers who expect to have to turn out to school on September 7th. Whether that turnout is going to be physical or virtual is what we're struggling with. If it is going to be virtual, then how do we make it meaningful and not just tick a box or we've done something? How do we make sure our kids are learning what they're supposed to be learning, or even half of what they're supposed to be learning? So that's really been what we're focused on right now.
In closing, Ms. Manickchand, the previous administration, when it came in, it seems that they were frozen in time somewhere around 1992. And then when they came back in 2015, they thought off and started with the same process. You were a Minister of Education before. You would have implemented programs. I'm sure it's a human thing. Not everything goes the way we plan. Have you learned anything from your past experience as Minister of Education, and are going to make changes in this tenure now to suggest, well, because persons who have not been given the time to carry out what they want, maybe you might have implemented programs and it did not go the way you want. Are you picking up where you left off, or have been looking on and realized the times have changed and you might do things differently now?
Precisely what is very difficult. First of all, let's deal with the previous administration. The previous administration, a huge disappointment to all Guyanese. People who voted for them and people who did not vote for them. And so it would be good, I mean, I don't want to tell them what to do in their political party, but it would be good if they're reflective of that. They disappointed people. They came in, gave such high hopes and made themselves out to be ideal, and they just did not deliver. Now, not delivering, critic, means that people didn't get the impact. People didn't feel the benefits of what they should have felt in the last 5 years. And when you have sectors like education, you see what happens. And very quickly you can spiral down and a lot of gains could be lost. And that's really unfortunate. It's funny, in 5 years, much has changed. Including, I mean, we have COVID now. So you can't deliver in the same way you were going to deliver before. I am not, if there is something I would change, is being tolerant of some amount of sloth. We can't afford that. People are looking to us to deliver academically to their children. And so there will be no space for sloth or prevarication or excuses. And so that will be a little bit different, a lot different.
And your approach?
Yes.
Cool. I want to thank you for your time, Minister. I'm hoping this has been very informative to you guys, the Guyanese Critic for Daybreak News.